Yesterday, I will say we helped break the news. I know Ian Rappaport was the first one to it, but Ian Rappaport breaking the news yesterday, along with ourselves, that Derek Carr was going to be benched for the last 2 games of the season. And also later on, it was announced that he's going to be taking, he's going to be basically leaving the team. Like, he's not going to be a part of the team for these last couple of weeks. And I feel bad for Derek Carr. I feel like this man, if we're being truthfully honest and just cutting through all of it right now, he has never had the help that he's needed. I know. Go ahead. In the comment section down below, I know what you guys are going to say. I know. But the last time I checked, this man has never truly had a top 10 defense. This man has never truly had the help that he's needed, to be able to get that done. Yes, don't get me wrong. He's had good offensive lines. He's had weapons. He's had, defenses that have shown some things in the past. But he has never had a top 10 defense, and he has never had all of this put together at the same time. And again, this wouldn't mean anything if we were talking about Patrick Mahomes, because we've seen what Patrick Mahomes can do by himself. But with a player like Derek Carr, there just needs to be a little bit more put around him in order for his team to be successful. And I feel bad in saying that, because Derek Carr, I feel like, has shown himself to be a capable NFL quarterback. But at the same time, there just comes a time when you need to be able to go out and do your own thing. Now, with that being said, I think that there are 3 teams right now that, no matter how this season ends, if they make the playoffs, if they don't, blah, 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 they need to take a serious look at bringing in a guy like Derek Carr. Seriously. I think that, they could potentially look at trading him, or I believe that the way that Derek Carr's contract is currently set up, he could be cut after, I believe, February 14th, and it would be only $6 million dead on the Raiders cap. And I think there's a couple of teams that really need to consider it. The first team, the number 1 team that needs to go for Derek Carr, I believe, is the New York Jets. There we go. So, yes, I know you've got Mike White. I know you were excited about what he showed you, throughout these last couple of years. I know against the Vikings, things didn't exactly go according to plan. I know he got hit in the ribs, and things are just looking a little bit gloomy. I know you're also done with Zach Wilson. I know you got Joe Flacco. I don't care. A guy like Derek Carr with your team, with a top 10 defense, with a good running game. You're going to get Breece Hall back next year. You've got receivers, and a guy like Robert Saleh, who's going to come out and be able to lead the squad. I think it's a match made in heaven. I think this seriously needs to be a team that looks at a guy like Derek Carr and tries to do everything that they can to bring him in. Now, as far as trade compensation, and this kind of goes for all 3 teams here, I don't think it needs to be extensive. I don't think it needs to be big, but I do think that teams need to put a serious offer on the table for Derek Carr, and I think it needs to start with the Jets. They've got everything you want. They've got that number 1 defense, like we said. They've got everything that Derek Carr needs to succeed, and I think it would make a lot of sense. The number 2 team for Derek Carr that needs to seriously consider trading for him, we're going to keep it in New York, or the area. I know it's not New York, but you guys get the point. It's the New York Giants. So, the Giants, and Brian Daboll specifically, they played out of their mind. Daniel Jones is not that guy. We've established that. But Derek Carr, with that defensive line, and really with that defense that has a really good secondary, with Saquon Barkley and potentially another number 1 wide receiver that they could bring in. Come on. You cannot sit here and tell me that Daniel Jones is not a better quarterback. That Derek Carr is not a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. That Derek Carr is not at least a step above Daniel Jones. I think that Derek Carr really would be a huge upgrade. I think that he could lead them into some serious contending, and I think that he could be a really big piece to them being able to be contenders, especially in the NFC East. I know it's a tough division, but really, quite honestly, Derek Carr and the Giants, it would be a really interesting fit, if you ask me. Now, the third and final team that I think could look at trading for Derek Carr, or at least maybe make an offer or go sign him or whatever happens moving forward with the Raiders, Carolina Panthers. Now, I know the Panthers are also at the same time, this has been interesting. They've established a running game. They've done a lot of different things, but they've also been in a spot where, hey, Steve Wilks has this team heading in the right direction. He really does. They found a formula that works for them. But Derek Carr, are you going to sit here and tell me that Derek Carr, with his arm, with his ability, and that running game, and a defense that just flies around and makes plays, are you going to sit here and tell me that it would make a lot of sense for the Carolina Panthers to give, we'll say, a third round pick for Derek Carr? Wow. I mean, maybe even a second at that point, because he is just honestly one of those players that I think is clearly a step above a guy like Baker Mayfield. He's a step above a guy like Sam Darnold. He really would make a lot of sense going to the Carolina Panthers for me. And there's a lot of other NFL teams out there that I think could make a play for Derek Carr. Teams like the Houston Texans, but they've got the number 1 overall pick, so I doubt that they're going to be making a play like that. Maybe even teams like the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know, but the Carolina Panthers really intrigue me, and I really feel like they would be a really good option for Derek Carr and also the team to definitely explore. But those are our 3 teams that we think that should trade for Derek Carr. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Also, let us know if we missed any teams. Is there a team that you think Derek Carr would be a good fit in, and what should they give up? But at the end of the day, let us know in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys give us a like and a follow. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover. But let us know what you guys think about our 3 teams that need to trade for Derek Carr.